Hey guys, Dark Energy with AoE Gaming bringing you another out-of-the-box build, this time a healer, a stamina-focused healer, a build offering your allies a ton of buffs and several debuffs to the enemy. This works in PvE and PvP, and the speed and mobility of this build is incredible, something you typically don't get with Magicka-based healers. Check out these clips and we'll loop back around and discuss the build. Alright guys, I hope that showed just a bit of what this build can do. Let's look at the stat screen now. Over 30k max stamina, 2259 stamina recovery. Your resistances are good and your weapon damage is almost 3k. We are a Nord and we are a Warden. We have our Mundus as the Atronach. That's Magicka recovery, and that is because even though we're a stamina-focused build, we do have buffs that we want to use that are Magicka cost, like Combat Prayer, for example. We'll get into that later. We are a Vampire. We want that extra 10% Magicka and stamina recovery, and we also want that additional damage mitigation while below 50% health, and keep it at stage 3 for minimal health recovery debuff. Our food is our Tayum takeaway broth. It's a bit expensive, and there are some other options we'll discuss later, but let's jump into the gear now. Powerful Assault is our first 5-piece set. It's a medium armor set. We got the Bow of Powerful Assault infused with a Crusher enchantment, reducing the physical and spell resistance of the enemy by 2108 with just a 5-second cooldown because of your infused trait. Max health, max stamina, weapon damage. When you cast an assault ability like Vigor or Warhorn, you and up to 3 allies within 15 meters gain 164 weapon and spell damage for 15 seconds. We do carry a Resto staff. We've got the Maelstrom's Restoration staff. You could do Powerful Assault Restoration staff, but we don't have any assault abilities in this bar. So we just want the extra Magicka recovery proc through rapid regen or radiating regen. Alright, now monster sets. For me, there's 2 options. The first being Chokethorn. The first trait is Magicka recovery. The second being when you use a heal ability, 15% chance to summon a Strangler sapling that heals you or an ally for 22,000 health over 4 seconds, every 10 seconds. And it almost seems intuitive. I know the set doesn't indicate that it selects the lowest health ally, but it seems to very rarely you get the worst luck of the draw where you're hitting a guy with full health. So Chokethorn's Arm Cops, we got medium on both of these, but the other set would have been Troll King. It's a great set for any healing build, really. Now let's move on to the next 5-piece set, Spell Power Cure. This is a little bit meta, I know, but it's a Magicka set, max Magicka spell damage. When you heal yourself or an ally that is at 100% health, you got a 50% chance to give them Major Courage, which increases their weapon and spell damage by 258. That stacks with Powerful Assault, giving them a total of 422 weapon and spell damage almost constantly. Now, the placement of these light and medium pieces actually isn't ideal. You wouldn't want your pants to be light. You'd want them to be medium for more resistance, and you'd probably want like your belt or gloves to be light, but this is what I had at the moment. Or you could mix it up and have no pieces of light on your body and just carry spell power cure weapons. But in that case, you couldn't have a Maelstrom Resto or an Asylum Resto or anything like that, because you wouldn't want to have spell power cure fall off. You'd have to have it on both bars, unlike Powerful Assault, where we can get away with just having it on our bow bar, because the moment you cast Vigor from your bow bar, the Powerful Assault proc carries over for 15 seconds, regardless of what bar you're on, allowing us to have like a 5-5-2-1 setup. All right, moving on to food. I wanted to spend just a minute talking about this. Bewitched Sugar Skulls, Clockwork Citrus Fillet, Smoked Bear Haunch, the Artaeum Takeaway Broth. All of these gold 4-trait meals are essentially equal in a sense. I mean, not exactly, but in a sense they are, because whatever trait is missing between them as they differentiate, that trait can be made up for with switching your Mundus Stone or tweaking attribute points. So where you truly benefit by using an expensive meal like Artaeum Takeaway Broth is if your Mundus is going to double dip, so to speak, into those same traits, Stamina Recovery or Max Stam, which actually in this case I do not. I have Magicka Recovery as my Mundus. So really the Smoked Bear Haunch, which gives you the max health and all 3 recovery traits, might be even more beneficial if you're looking for a cheaper option, and then just make your Mundus max stamina. All right, moving into the skill section now. We'll start with the bow bar. Our first skill is Focused Aim. It's a morph of Snipe. Deals 8,800 physical damage, but what we're after here is inflicting them with Minor Fracture, reducing their physical resistance by 1320 for 10 seconds. This is our first debuff. Remember, on the bow is a Crusher glyph with an infused trait bow, also reducing physical and spell resistance by 2200. They will both deliver with the impact right there from Snipe. So now their physical and spell resistance has been reduced immensely. Next skill, Echoing Vigor. It's an AoE heal. It heals for 12,000 health over 10 seconds, but it is the activator of our 5-piece set Powerful Assault. Do you see my bow glowing orange in yellow and goldish? That is Powerful Assault. It's indicated that I've been affected with that. So when I go to this group over here, if this guy wouldn't pull me again, if I go over here and I cast Vigor, they've all got the heal coming from it, and you see the weapon is glowing gold on the bowman. I don't know why the staff doesn't sometimes, but remember, it's weapon and spell damage. They both get the buff, stamina and Magicka characters. See, the bow is glowing orange. Also, the hands were glowing purple from spell power cure. Next skill is Nature's Embrace. Now, it's a Magicka costing skill, but it scales off of your highest offensive stat. So it uses Magicka to cast, but it will still scale off of my max stamina. I mean, so it's a great heal over time, and it gets you from point A to point B really quickly to get to your allies. And you also generate ultimate when the healing is over. So next skill, Bold Netch, restores stamina to us over 25 seconds, but also gives us Major Brutality and Major Sorcery for weapon and spell damage buffing, increasing the potency of our heals, and also removing negative effects from ourself. Next skill, Expansive Frost Cloak. This is going to give our allies Major Resolve and Major Ward from a tremendous distance, 28 meters. You can see I just got them from there. I'll do it again here so you can kind of see. They all just got it. That's going to be a great buffer for your allies. Next skill, Ultimate, Aggressive Horn. You're going to raise your allies' max pools, Magicka and stamina by 10% for 30 seconds and give them Major Force, increasing all of their critical damage by 15% for 10 seconds. It's also an Assault ability, so you see he got Powerful Assault on his bow now. So it and Vigor will proc that. So offensively, Major Force, Major Courage, Powerful Assault, Minor Berserk, which we haven't gotten to yet. You're tremendously buffing your teammates' damage output. We haven't even discussed the enemy debuffs yet, which will push their damage even further. But next skill, Soothing Spores. It's a big bursty stamina-based heal, 8,000 health, but usually can crit 15, 14, 16,000 or more. You give them nice mushrooms. Everybody loves mushrooms. See that? Just a nice bursty blockade of healing. Next skill, Radiating Regen. We use this because of the Maelstrom Restoration Staff. It's a nice way to load everybody up with a nice healing over time for more uptime of Chokethorn. But you could swap this out if you didn't have the Maelstrom Resto with a couple of other stamina-based skills. Bone Surge is a nice stamina ward that people can synergize with. Budding Seeds, though. This one is great in PvP. You hit a whole area. It offers a synergy, healing over time. It's nice, but it is Magicka-based, so keep that in mind. But we already had a Magicka-based skill in its place, the Radiating Regen, so Magicka for Magicka there. You can't go wrong with it, though. That Harvest synergy is great, whether you're in PvP or PvE. Next skill, Growing Swarm, an absolute must on this build. It costs stamina, hits the enemies for physical damage, but also gives them minor vulnerability. The days of needing a Destro staff with a shock glyph charge trait Destro are gone. With one cast, you can send out this swarm. It's a damage over time. It hits people around them, but it gives them minor vulnerability. So you always run this. You'll see me in the PvP clips. I was using it. We're increasing all the enemies' damage taken by 8%. So I'll show you how this looks. If I can find some enemies here, take a nice long scenic route, I guess. By the way, the blue and green orbs and the smoke around my feet, I'm sure people are going to be asking me where I got that. I will make a video shortly of where I got that visual effect. Anyway, here we go. Now, they've got their own Fetch or Fly swarm, but it's an AoE, so they also are getting affected by each other's swarm. That's why you see 2 dots, 2 orange numbers. Get him, minions. Get him, Fetch or Fly minions. Bad kitty. Bad kitty. Okay. Next skill, absolutely imperative. It's a Magicka-based skill, a Resto staff skill, Combat Prayer. It gives them 3 buffs. Heals them, which can crit that number. Gives them Minor Berserk, increasing all their damage done by 8%, and Minor Resolve and Minor Ward, increasing their physical and spell resistance by 1320. So with one cast, it's kind of like a blockade. You're going to hit all your allies, and they're all going to get Minor Berserk, Minor Resolve, Minor Ward, and a heal. And of course, if they're full health, they have a chance to get Spell Power Cure proc as well. Give them some of my spores too, from my kitty. He's a good kitty. So that's what that one looks like. You can't lose it. That skill is an absolute must. All right, next skill, Energy Orb. Now this is imperative in PvE. Not necessarily in PvP, in my opinion. PvE, because it offers a synergy that gives resources, not just health. We got a lot of heals. This does heal, but the Healing Combustion synergy is going to offer them what shards would offer them. It's going to offer them Magicka or stamina, depending on what they use. And of course, if you don't know, the synergy can be utilized by more than one player with one ball. As it goes through, it will heal, like those lines are indicating, but it will also not disappear when it's used, the synergy is used with the first person. Now, in PvP, this skill is not the best in my opinion, because the battle is always moving fast, it's changing its location, people are moving fast, and the orb is just kind of slow, but it's not horrible, but there are better alternatives. Like I mentioned earlier, Bone Surge. This is a stamina-based ward, and it offers a synergy that will give your allies a damage shield that is 33% of their max health and gives them Major Vitality for 6 seconds, increasing all of their healing received by 30%. So it's a really good option, even in PvP or PvE, either way. But another good option that I wasn't using in the PvP clips in the beginning of the video is Ring of Preservation. It's a stamina-based heal, gives them minor protection, reducing their damage taken by 8%, increases their stamina recovery by 10% from minor endurance, and they are healed for over 1100 every second. It's a half-second tick, so your ticks are double. You get 2 ticks per second, but that's what it looks like. The size is pretty good. It's not as big as Budding Seeds, but it definitely is one I would use in PvE and could be used in PvP. So I wanted to show those options for skill swapping and kind of where I, in my opinion, feel like for PvP or PvE, they are more or less beneficial to your group. So that is basically the skill setup. I'll go ahead and swap back Radiating Regen because, again, I'm using that Maelstrom Resto. But to be honest with you, probably having Budding Seeds and or Ring of Preservation would probably be the best. Now, I wanted to show some of the damage potential with this build as well. I know we're not a DPS, we are a healer, and we're sticking to that. But with all of the buffs, Combat Prayer, Powerful Assault, Major Courage, the debuffs like Minor Vulnerability right there, when you snipe them, well, look at the tooltip, which the snipe is Minor Fracture and the Infused Crusher. You can get 17,000, almost 18,000 with a crit hit there. So from ranged in PvP, you can really assist your allies while also debuffing them with Minor Fracture and the Infused Crusher and just snipe them. And you saw in one of the clips I had the Toxic Barrage where I finished off that DK. But it's just nice you could slot that as an option so when people don't need healing in PvP, you're able to be an offensive asset to help deal damage when needed. 52,000 damage over 4 seconds, and then an additional 27,000 over 8 seconds with that ultimate. So even without that ultimate, to snipe from ranged, you're really, like I said, you're hitting them with big numbers, you're debuffing them, Minor Fracture, Infused Crusher. You throw the Swarm, they get Minor Vulnerability plus more damage. Now, you could use the Shocks for Major Fracture as well in PvP, but in PvE, we assume the tank is delivering Major Fracture and Major Breach. All right, champion points now. Go ahead and take a look as I navigate through the champion trees. All right, guys, that wraps up the champion points portion of this video and actually wraps up this build. If you like this build and you want to see more, I've got more on my channel. Support roles, DPSs. I try to keep things out of the box. A lot of you already know that. I just like to keep things fun, unique, and interesting and keep this game alive. I've noticed I've gained a larger and larger following, and to be honest with you, I didn't expect these videos to be so well liked, and I love the feedback, guys. And not to go all sentimental, but especially in times like this, no matter where you are in the world, when you're dealing with some of the stuff going on in your country, whether it be directly from the coronavirus or it be from the economy or you're laid off, financial hardship, things in your personal life. I mean, to be honest, what better place to find life than in a game like this, an MMO. Outside of the lag that everybody complains about, the community, the getting together, meeting people, sharing adventures, trading, just the whole entire experience. It's like there's another world to still be alive and well in, and you don't have to stay 6 feet apart. As a matter of fact, I challenge all of you, find somebody, make a new friend, gift somebody something. Don't charge them for it. Find somebody who needs help. Give them your time. Lend them your ear. Hop on the headset and talk to people. Get out there and make more friends. Now, I know it's an MMO and people are doing that anyway, but if you're not, I challenge you to really push yourself to that point, especially right now during these times where a lot of people could probably use that. With all the negativity and all the fear and abundance out there in the real world right now, let's put positivity into each other on this platform. So I challenge all of you to put the headset on and make one new friend. Make one difference in one new friend. Dark Energy with AoE Gaming, signing out.